should education systems focus more on skills than academic knowledge? So we have this, and we have all of us to talk to this. So we can take, do we have the ones that say for or against? So that we...
You start it first. I mean, they will follow suit.
Why do you want me to start? Okay, there are more people. So it will have and this group. It will have been so good like that. Okay.
That will be part of knowledge. And can we shift this topic to another, because it will be more interesting with the language.
Okay.
So I think fulfill the time, but the project discuss with the topic and to come up.
Yeah. So that it will look like we have something to do today. We just drop it during the meeting. Yeah. So we can bring it up again when.
So can bring it up with a guest speaker. That can be a good person.
Okay. Like a moderator, right? Okay. All right. So yes. Now, if we are saying 4, then talking about practical skills, prepare students for real life challenges and jobs. So definitely, the education that should have been best for us is technical education.
Yeah.
Where students go to school, we are teaching them the theory and they are practicalizing it. So this won't prepare them for the job they want to do. It's not actually that I could remember when I was in Polytechnic, but throughout my years there, I know some of my mates that didn't even know how to on computer, and we are studying computer science. I know a number of people that for their final year projects, some of us have to develop programs for them to defend their project because they don't know. But I think being is actually skills with education, so it will have built such things. And what most of us did is that even when we are not in school, when we don't have it, we go to the computer lab, we just find something to do, to learn. Yeah, but when it's made compulsory for every student to do, so that one we actually prepare them for to go to real life. Then against for public schools are more inclusive. Okay, I'm reading another thing. Okay, academic knowledge builds intellectual capacity and is the foundation for skills. So definitely, we can say, okay, it's the foundation for skills, meaning that somebody that goes to school will actually have more knowledge about what he wants to do, more than the person that just go for skill. Now, let's take, for example, if a graduate is selling popcorn, you know that it will be well packaged more than somebody that just went to learn it from street and just selling. So in that sense, the academic knowledge has actually modified how the presentation of the sales will be. So I think with this one, I've set I've set a ground for us to discuss it. So we can talk about it too now. Yes, we can go sideways too, not necessarily taking one side.
China experience. China, as soon as a child is born, I think there are people who examine them to know where they will fit in best. If they know that they are going to learn carpentry, then we start from age 2 to be in that carpentry department. By the time they are about 8 years, 10 years, they have already become a book, you know, in that field. So also other professions, mechanical, you know, sanitary wares and all these things. And that's where they are more technical. Is it?
How did you measure sanitary waste?
It's part of what
And just-
the production.
It's sort of-
This-
You also tell me how they are described politician.
So, the technical skill, you know, especially in this country of Nigeria today, we need more of the skill than academics. Yes. Because if you are, if I'm learning organizing, for example, you know, and I'm learning it right from age 2. All the things we study academically, the ABC to nursery, well, now it's nothing like nursery, to primary 3, and then learning English and all these things. You enter secondary school, they are giving you all sorts of subjects, biology, physics, mathematics is needed in every profession. English is needed for communication and so on and so forth. Yes, we need those words. But I can equally learn it if I'm in the technical school. Because I must learn where to stay in order to make change my profession with clients that needed me. You know, and so on and so forth. So there are so many things you can learn from that than academics. Academics is necessary just for the exchange of ideas with other squares of the world. Yeah. But technically, I think we need it better.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. All right, let's go in next.
Thinking of what I said. That is what I think if even though the academic is going on, we should do everything practical in school. You can still go to that school that we're in that school. Let them do practical. Because most times you see that an engineer, you see, for instance, the computer science person that went to school, you don't even have access to computer. Without do you understand? So, but if from scratch, because most times most of the science subject they do it right from primary school right now. They do it from primary school. So if from scratch we say okay, as a computer person, you will learn how to use computer from the primary school. You start using that computer. You are opportunity to stay one-on-one on that computer. It will go a long way. Not that they choose who and who to stay on the system. That in some schools you have to see maybe like 100 students really to computer, which they will leave somebody else to. So, but we let's use our country as a case study. We suffer a whole lot. Even right now, I was saying we're in ChatGPT this thing. It's not all schools that still have access to this computer one-on-one. Most schools that have access to computer one-on-one, their fees are outrageous. That when you go to school for academic, you sit with your computer and work with it to submit every of your day. You understand? Even some schools too, you see a medical doctor. It's not everything that these days now you go to the hospital. So these days you go to the hospital now, you see a doctor, you somebody checking their phone. The doctor is checking their phone. So it's my daughter was saying something there, and she said, A pharmacist is in 500 and he's selling drugs. Now, what will he sell when he finish school? What will he sell to patient that come to you? What will he sell to pharmacy? That's already, do you understand? Now, what is that? And you are learning pharmacy and you are selling drugs. So, what is your future life? Do you understand? So, most times, most people are not opportune to those things that they need in school. That's why people are saying, in common Nigerian language, you say, is it by education? Is it by education? Is it by the 4 walls of the school? People that not even in the school, they even get better understanding and better knowledge. Even a tomatoes woman, you will be amazed. She does something amazing that you that went to that school, you stay 12 years or 16 years in that school. She can display and do things that will be amazing. So sometimes when you people that you are doing PhD or you are doing master, you say, the one you are doing is not enough. What are you furthering again for? What has he put on your table? Why some too? Opportunity meets them, smartness meets them. In that same academic way, they forge their life and that help them along the line.
All right, sir.
Academician, welcome, sir.
Yeah.
The topic is getting what I would say that academic education is a means and end, and especially at the tertiary level is more than research. At the foundational level, we try to have, we're supposed to have well-groomed teachers that will be able to know the biases of each of the children that are going on, to know which area they will be more prone to. Because I believe that a good academic foundation will make you a better skilled worker if you do the right research. The fact that we don't tie our academics with practical and skill acquisition is why we are. Some of us were tools growing up to the two sides working directly and perfectly well. I think some of us, my education was acting up like various corners, universities. And that was the time they established the universities of technologies, where you have skill development alongside with the basic academic background. In that way, whatever you're learning, you're also practicalizing and innovating research. It's not copy and paste. So if we look at it from that aspect, we won't quite say you do this to the neglect of this. Because I feel it's sound academic training and education will make you a better skill worker if you really do the research in areas that have been discovered. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, sir.
Very good.
Yeah.
I was fortunate to stumble
Yes, I mean.
via internet about wealthy Nigerians who should not go through the walls of the university.
Yeah.
One of them happens to be Costaris. He gave his autobiography. He only went to school to 1993. And he did not have the opportunity of doing his education because of poverty. After 1993, he was attached to his uncle, selling spare parts. And from there, he was there for 6 years. When it was time for the uncle to settle him, the uncle just gave him 200 naira. At that time. And his senior brother, because as an Igbo man, he said the family normally concentrate on the firstborn. So the mother spent all her resources to educate the senior one. So he was left to be an apprentice. And by the time he got out, so when the brother was giving him 200 naira, I mean, his uncle, the senior brother told, because they went together, the senior brother told him, no, don't take it, it's too small. That he asked the senior brother, are you ready to give me?
To give me more.
This 200 naira, if he refuses it. And the brother said he doesn't have. Yeah, so,
Why is it that you
so he was with the brother for only, I think, 3 months. When he realized that their ideology were not the same. So he had to go out and began to, to
look for opportunity?
to forge ahead on his own. He went through school of poverty. He was really trained in that school of poverty. And that he had a focus. That he told himself that at the age of 18, he must have his own business. At the age of 20, he must have a woman like Onori in his house. And at the age of 25, he must have his first child. 21, he must have a son. And then 25, he must have a wife. And he was focused. He had the wife. He had his business by the age of 18. He had his wife at 20. He had his God didn't give him the child. So at the age of 23, he said he was passing through Owerri Road and saw a Passat car parked in front of Mandela or something. And he branched and he negotiated and bought it. And that he became the first person to use car in his family. Yeah. So he went further, and from there he developed himself, went abroad, went to BMW, was selling their motor for them. And then from there, he went to other brands. And that's how he became successful to this day. So what am I saying in essence is that he was able to acquire the skill at that young age. I don't know whether because you were taking for Costaris. Costaris said he only had education to elementary grade.
And really takes great.
Yeah. So what are we saying is that as you said, academics, yes, makes you to think
Wider. Yeah.
wider.
It needs to an end.
Is a means to an end, yes. Yeah, but the technical experience can take you far ahead.
Yeah.
With the book.
Yeah. Actually, it actually reflects in most of the graduates nowadays. That is just what they just know to do is to just apply, carry CV everywhere, apply. When you ask them, when they said, "Okay, help me," and also, what do you know how to do? Nothing. I always tell them that just know how to do something, because there will always be opportunity for you to do for something.
If we, the people as a nation, who will develop research, not just a skill of already made invention. That's where I'm coming from. Some of the skills we have now were developed by somebody. Yeah. He did just wake up overnight. Yeah. He has a background, a training. Yes, we have gifted people or persons that might come up with anything out of nature or
Yeah.
But the essence of the basic education and academic development is to give you a foundation of which you could leverage and think out of the box of solving issues or problems. Yes, I agree that if you have a skill, you could improve on it. If you're good, therefore, it's routine. Like you said, okay, the apprenticeship system of our Eastern brothers where you take a brother or a relation or a friend, architect to be under it.
One boy.
Then
One boy.
One more, yeah, thank you.
One boy.
That's the name.
one boy, boy, to be,
One boy.
okay, to be with you and to be boy,
Mhm.
with the hope that you understood is to take over or to get it later where you settle with peanut.
Mhm.
And then towards the end of the apprenticeship, you have create a mini shop, which is like the lab, where the boy was to be keeping his books and be selling alongside
Mhm.
and building it into our client. In that way, if the boy has at least a basic education, he'll be innovative and learn what has my boss done? What can I do differently to make myself go to the next step? Yes, in as much as we praise the apprenticeship system economically, that has lifted a lot of people from the downhill. If there had been a backup of education, then the person can think out of the box in research format, he could have been a better, a skilled worker in the trade he has chosen to learn. That being said, I still believe that these two, academic education, will go hand in hand with skill, and not that we just say, oh, I will be an apprentice particular skill. And that skill will, yes, give you economically in the short term. In the long term, what have you innovated to create your learning? Like I would say, I have the pattern for this. That's what I'm going. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, sir. Does anyone online want to say something about it? We have 3 people online now. Sir Abiodun Bolarinwa. Then, okay, our AG is there too, Ambassador Roy. And Rotary Mary. Does anybody have anything to say to our topic?
People, they are all speaking. Let's.
Eh?
Who wants to talk?
Before latecomers talk. All right, sir. Yeah.
Now,
All right.
Let's come at
You didn't come early before, but today you do.
I only got that constant. He did that and let's come out. I'm better than you are not here at all.
But is it true or not?
Maybe you have said your own.
All right,
I'll
sir.
do my own.
You have influence.
Me, I don't want to know. I'm not hopeless. I'm not hopeless.
Hey.
He always go.
All right, sir.
Even when he came, they said, and so my president will welcome me with joy. President is saying,
Welcome me with sadness.
Let us assume that it didn't take place.
You
You are welcome.
Sorry, you are drawing fire with petrol in your eyes.
Oh, okay. I'm talking to a lawyer. Okay, is it true? My alteration, was it true or not?
Then we get to court. No, it's not. It's civil disobedience. Okay, how I thought.
But
They are not good law to apply that law.
out.
you are exam it's law of T1T. They have
Okay.
There's a lot of talks too, if you want to know.
I-
Talks. And it happens in National Assembly.
Yeah.
Well, sincerely speaking, this is a topic that has always been very close to my heart. You know, I know there are two qualifications in better society: certification and stabilification. Certification. You know, countries that have moved forward, and that is where our education planners have refused to do the rightful thing. A JSS1 student until recently studied 16 subjects.
Honestly.
16 subjects. Out of these 16 subjects, 4 or 5 are the basic needs of education. Simple calculation, English, nature study, and environment probably, and economy.
What is CV?
No, civic education. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Civic education.
Not English language.
No.
Citizenship.
Citizenship.
Yeah.
You understand? That is how to make him a better citizen from beginning. How to go, and you know, some educationists will tell you that countries that studies in mother tongue have the fundamental leverage of better education.
Sure. Sure.
Yes, let's now assume because of our own peculiar situation where we have multilingual society, we couldn't agree for political and social reason why we can't have a single language as the language of communication. And we have all foolishly adopted English as our official language of sustenance. You understand? There is something that says if we have started learning, if you have started using maybe Igbo as a language of communication in Nigeria in the last 100 years, that probably more than 60% of education in Nigeria will probably be better because you are communicating in a language that is indigenous to you.
Yeah.
Even when you can get the variation of, you know, a single language, you can, because, you know, in today's world, people have moved from discovering ampicillin to better medicine. You are not going to reinvent the wheel. Anything you need to know about science, you are only going to build up on what somebody has done before.
Yeah.
Anything you want to build up on any other field of endeavor, you are building, there's a foundation already. So why our educational planners are still, and you know, there are a lot of shenanigans in our educational system. Number one, you discover that because of our prevalence for corruption, even our educational planners corruptly plan our education to suit their purpose. See, certain books are recommended not because they are useful, because the author is a member of the planning committee. And you discover that probably has a strong leg there. So he will just copy and paste and sell, and then it becomes a national book. Now, but that's not where I'm going. You know, a Nigerian here traveled to Germany, and then he saw somebody here who he used to know, that used to work with Julius Berger. In Nigeria, that man is called engineer, whatever his name was or is. So this Nigerian saw him in Julius Berger headquarters in Germany and was shouting, "Hey, engineer," because he knew him in Nigeria. So he was standing with another person who is an engineer.
He can't answer.
So that person didn't answer him. I said, "No, I know this man in Nigeria." I said, "Yes." He now called him and said, "Come. You are in Nigeria?" I said, "Yes." "Were you engineer?" I said, "No." "What do you do?" "You dey repair lock."
The repair,
Lock.
That's the engineer here. Every day.
everybody's engineer.
I am here facing them.
Do you understand me? His area of specialization is fixing and repairing locks. Now, in today's world, you can become so educated up to PhD in playing badminton, study of badminton, and you have a PhD. That does not mean that person who did not go to school at all cannot beat you in badminton.
Sure.
You know the theoretical part of badminton, you know the rules, you know the history, you know this physiology and psychology of badminton, but the practical player who has been playing badminton for the long time you use in school it's probably going to beat you 1 million times all over again.
Yes.
Now, in the field of law, people think law is just about book. It's about common sense. Because it's about interpretation and facts and delivery. But there are certain areas of human endeavor that does not need plenty English. Jonah, who is a mechanic in Apple Mechanic Village, all he needs to do to be a better mechanic is the capacity to read and write.
Sure.
That means that he doesn't have to spend, because if you calculate the years you spend in school to be where you are today, if you learn Taylor in those years, you'll be beating, what do you call this, master designers. They didn't spend that much of a time to learn to be world-class designers.
Yeah. Definitely.
The designers who were today did not spend, because in Nigerian educational system before now, my time, 7 years primary school, 5 years secondary school, 5 years in university. No, I'm telling you, my 7 years in primary school, 5 years in secondary school, 5 years in university, NYC. So 18 years of your life is being wasted in the name of education.
Yeah.
So we devoted so much time to certification. In these 18 years, we have not calculated ASU strike. We have not calculated national calamity, unknown force majeures that can stop anything from happening. So in this, your quality years, your years of growth, your first 20 years is wasted in quotes in the acquisition of a knowledge that you probably do not need. Because if you ask anybody who went to a Nigerian university, if you ask anybody who went to Nigerian university, if they ask you the courses you study from 100 level to 400 and ask you the applicability of it in your life today, you find anywhere where you have what you have studied in university, there is nowhere you have been able to apply 5% of it in your life. So until we and the cost of giving formal education is so expensive.
Yeah.
So it's like creating job for the boys. You hire a lot of forces. I was reading recently why NUC actually, national policy on university establishment now for the next 7 years, you won't have another university. There was a university that had 2,000 students, or the number of lecturers is almost half of it's like twice the number of students in the school.
Okay. In Nigeria?
Yes. Of recent, I'll remember the number of students admitted to the university. There are more lecturers than students in the university and workers in the university. That is how low we have gone. And this university gets federal budgeting. They have vice chancellor, deputy vice chancellor, DVC academics, DVC admin, registrar, deputy registrar, dean student affairs, dean, bossa, every, the whole gamut of a normal university. But yet, the number of students in the school, if the lecturers, if the workers in school want to beat the students, they will overpower them. So, and that is where we put a lot of money. And yet that money we put into education is like a drop in what the education actually need. Better societies, government don't fund education anymore. It's about research grants. One of my friends who was the vice chancellor, one day we were talking, he said, I see when ASU said they want to go on strike, he just asked me that, oh God, what an unfortunate situation. That these are people who should be making millions of naira, elephants in the shop. Because if, for example, you can develop research on why Gari should be used for other than soaking eba, what else can we use Gari for? And as a professor in nutrition, you decided to you try some other things, and it became, of recent I saw somebody packaging Gari, ready to drink Gari milk, sugar, packaged already, All you do is just pour it into a cup and it's gone. So imagine such innovation. You don't need big English. So I think until our education planners decide specifically to help us out, that look, in 1999, I wrote a proposal to one of the governors in Nigeria. No, I was not around there. That's maybe your time. In 1999, I wrote a proposal to a governor. And I told him, I said, the Almajiri institution has come to stay and has become menace to that part of the world, the totality of northern Nigeria, whether we like it or not. And it's been exported to virtually every part of Nigeria. That's the biggest export of human dehumanization in Nigeria. Now, so I said, why don't we integrate the formal education with the informal education? Teach them arithmetic, English, civic, something to help them think while they're studying Islamic education. Because when you do analysis of the cost of educating one child in secondary school and the cost of giving one Almajiri, that's 3 subjects cost integration. You'll spend maybe 10,000 naira to produce one college graduate. One is less than 500 naira to produce one enlightened Almajiri. Because you're not putting him into the system of hostel, teacher, salary, and everything. No. You're just integrating. Even though you are producing from the formal school, can become a resource person to the one. Because all they needed is, if you leave secondary school, just SS3, SS1, and SS3, you can teach somebody how to read and write. Sure. You can teach him A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I to Z. You can teach him 2 + 2 is equal to 4. So, which means that, and you may not necessarily pay him the cost of what you're paying a teacher in formal education. I was told then that no, it's going to be a problem because you cannot disconnect that system. And I told them then that when the system bursts, that I hope you people be around to say, and somebody warned you. And it's bursting now on the edge. Where do the bandits and the Boko Haram get the material from? It's from there. Is there anybody in this room today who, how much can they give you to become a bandit? What do you think would be what would be the attraction to say, my president, okay, take $1 million. How much is $1 million today? Because for somebody to engage you into as a bandit, you must first of all ask him, because of your level of education and your intelligence, your awareness of your person, your self-esteem as a human being, you probably will not take anything less than $1 million to say, okay, look, okay, fine, I'm going to put my life on the line. After I drop 500,000 naira for madam and the children, I can face the rat. But can somebody give you 30,000 naira now said, come and become a bandit? Go through the people arrested for banditry and kidnapping. When they ask them, how much did you collect from your victim? They'll say 30 million. Of this 30 million naira, how much was given to you? He will tell you 20,000 naira. You understand? No, it's that bad. So they'll collect they'll kidnap somebody for 10, 20 million naira. And because of their low level of intelligence and thinking, they'll be giving 10,000 naira, 20,000 naira, 30,000 naira. So, but if you had given him a little education and give him something critical to think about, because critical thinking does not mean algorithm alone. Critical thinking is about not jumping before a train because you know to crush you. You be fatalistic. You take that kind of dive. Even if that's the only thing you attain with your citizen, you have changed the narration of your country as people. So I think where we're not getting it right is that we have assumed that this is education must be about classroom. And that is why generation before now, you see that 7 years is the minimum requirement to enter school. In 7 years, you have become you're going to be a thinking human being. But today, as soon as we remove them from the breast, you have to throw them to crèche. So people leave secondary school at 14.
14 is big.
At 14. And what do you expect from that? That's why even I have a cousin who became a doctor at 23, a medical doctor at 23. The first time he saw a multiple accident, he fainted. I'm serious. He was a medical doctor at 23, 124. They brought him victim of multiple accidents. He saw head difference, leg difference, his connected legs, connected well. And you know, one looking, he just fainted and they started worrying what happened to the doctor. See, if you go to court today, you see a brilliant young man who's a lawyer at 22.
Yes.
Anything that is not written in the book,
you
cannot think.
Yeah, that's it. ChatGPT and all those things.
They cannot think.
Let me just show. I went to the wouldn't be there. I knew I was coming down with fever and nothing. Just like when we came to infect.
Are you infected? Are you infected?
Almost.
Almost. And continue to get close. Oh. Oh, the beating.
Sorry, I have to use that. Why I was sitting in front of him, he was using.
It's Googling your case.
You know, they take your vital and they speak to them. The doctor may say, tell me what. I say, I'm feeling nauseous. I feel feverish. I just feel like I want to break out of that. He said, it's time to be Friday.
Is that us?
Asking a hi.
I think about my God.
Why don't you do it at home?
See,
I said no.
I know.
Person is not good.
I know someone. There's a new hospital in town that they said it's state-of-the-art hospital.
And I build it.
You understand? In terms of building and structure, but honestly speaking, it's populated by half-baked
Doctors.
We have a case where someone was flown to India for surgery. You know why? Because X-ray here showed that there was a cockroach in his stomach.
And meanwhile, it's inside inside the machine.
When they got to India, the X-ray was done again. They said nothing. And I'm a victim. I once did what's it called? A test in Nigeria. And I was getting clean bill of health. As in perfect. So I was opportune to be in Saudi Arabia. I went to Suleiman Faki Hospital. It's one of their best hospitals in Saudi Arabia. And I decided to do a rerun of the test. I was dumbfounded because totality, from the reagent used to the machine used to the person who used the reagent and the machine, everything was zero.
Maybe the reagent expired.
Or low quality, or fake.
Why is like that?
No, see.
Now, when you play China,
Yeah. It's not made in China, sir.
If
See,
we continue, we will not live here.
Let me tell you, you see.
Don't continue.
See,
Let's continue.
in China, people always accuse China of producing substandard material. No, see. You see, in China, there are standardization policy. What you want to buy is what will be sold to you. And they'll make sure that one of it does not drop in their country.
Yes, I got to see what you order for.
See,
Versus.
I know a state government that ordered for machine. They gave a contractor to supply machine. This
Motorcycle.
when the man got to China, somebody told him that don't waste your time buying in Nigeria, just go to China. You can even get it produced for you, shipped to Nigeria. And when he got there, they told him, what's your budget? He said they should show him the type they have. They said this one is $30, this one is 70, this one is 100, this is 270, this is 500, that's $1,000. So which one do you want? You look at the profit margin if you produce 30 naira own, $30 own. Give me this one plenty. They produce it for him, shipped it to Nigeria. When they brought it to Nigeria, after it has been assembled, if you machine has two brakes, the hand and the leg. If you apply the two from here, you will reach Jabi. The machine never stops. It kills so many beneficiaries of that machine and maims so many.
They will blame the governor.
No, they'll blame it. The governor, okay.
They'll blame the person.
The person riding it.
Speed.
Yeah. Stupid.
Is that speed?
So if you look
It's about
into the governor is gonna want to kill them.
But you see,
No.
again, for them, governor has done them well by giving them machine
Mm.
in 21st century. See, I stand to be corrected. We were the initiators of machine as a means of not transportation. A particular state government in 1999, when they were elected, assembled 43 of us to draw up a Marshall Plan for him for the next 4 years. What we did was to say, okay, look, the biggest and the most, beautiful opportunity that this country should take on is agriculture. That the 3 senatorial districts in that state should have a minimum of 100 hectares in each of the 3 senatorial districts. That is 300 hectares. Divided by number of first line, farmers.
Okay.
Give them either in 2 acres or in 3 acres. Give them insecticide, pesticide, the seed, the small amount of money to survive while this is being planted. Then massively train, what you call extension officers.
Okay.
Extension officers to train them on modern techniques of farming. That will increase yield, that will increase, productivity and better economy. So when after harvesting, government should buy from them at prevailing market rates and deduct the loan, the little money you give them to survive while they were, and give them their profits. Next year, from what they have made, they plow it back into the system. Then government that has bought this product from them can now sell to Nigerian government. The silos you have, build more silos and store. Every year, Nigerian government buy tons of millions of food. If that is the only thing you are producing for the nation, then you don't even wait for their monthly allocation anymore. Now, the report says to ease the essential workers' accessibility to the rural area, don't buy bicycle for them, buy machine. The first thing government did was to import the machine. So when we saw the machine, we were happy that the first leg of our report is being.
The time for the backup.
The moment the machine came, you know what they started doing with it? They were selling it, they were giving it as dash to political thugs. Then, before you know, they started giving it to civil servants as a loan. Machine of 70,000 naira will be given to civil servant at 110,000 naira. And they're deducting it from his salary. Some end up collecting 4 or 5 machines. At 5 years salary has been tied to machine. When you collect the machine of 110,000 naira, you go and sell it to Olori for 60,000 naira and have cash, and they collect deducting salary from. Before you know it, it became Achaba you find in Nigeria today. That was the history of Achaba. The initial reason was to use it as a means of accessing the rural areas that are not motorable, so that extension workers can go in there, and educate the farmers on modern farming techniques. From that passion, it became a poison. So, and other states start adopting Okada as a means of transportation. They also want that even form Akomoron. Akomoron became a political tool in the hands of all the governors. Something on motor, like if I NURTW, Akomoron 2 today is a multi-billion naira pipe where they collect money from everybody who's a member. You must belong to the member. So I think,
Please let us.
I think, we have to. This topic cannot
Because
end like this, but then
yes, we actually said it before that we'll do it another day where we have multiple people.